One of the things that I try to do is try to keep things visual and top of mind because I've
Mhm.
got, let's say, 50 different applications that I'm opening regularly. I don't even want to show you my desktop right now because there are literally 35 different windows that I have to kind of go through. So one of the things that I like to do is every month, every 3 months or so, I go to my big whiteboard and I'll write down like these are three non-negotiables that I want to have executed within the next 3 months, right? And
Mhm.
then, like you said, we kind of sit down, we create lists, we craft lists that determine how to prioritize them, break it down, get more clear. So that's something I look at, and I think one of the things that inevitably happens is you end up getting into the situation where you want to batch some of your tasks, some of your ideas. So I want to talk a little bit more about batching. Like you had just mentioned, Mike, when you wake up in the morning, your brain is going to go through different levels of energized, lethargic, right? What are some batching tips? How can we craft our schedule so that we're optimizing our brain power for our batch products?
Well, and actually, with time crafting, almost all of it is batching
Mm,
because when you think about a batch, right? Like think about batch in terms of I worked for Costco for a number of years, and I worked in the service deli area where you buy where the chicken pot pies are made and all that
I
stuff.
love you.
And we would make things and yeah, I didn't love making chicken pot pies. There was big sales, and we're like, holy smokes! But we would make them in batches, right? Like you would have, but you would have to stagger your production schedule because it's time to make the chicken pot pie. So we can't work with the raw food right now because we
Mm,
have. So there's a timing thing. And what I learned by working at Costco, especially because I ran that area and I ran the food court where you got the hot dog and soda for like $1.50 or
yep.
whatever, is it's important to have uh, uh, wayfinders or anchors or bellwethers for your time, so you can say, okay, this is what I should be doing right now based on something that I know to be true consistently.
So are you
And that's why I
talking
talk about
are you talking about like an alarm on your phone or
no,
some
no, 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 no. I'm talking about up here.
okay.
So the best kind of automation is mental automation, right? So you know that okay, it's dinner time now. I should be eating dinner. So what I do is what I try to do is I try to theme my time so that the batches can fall into those themes. So when I wake up in the morning, and you mentioned how I get up in the morning and we've got frenetic stuff going on and my energy levels are all over the place or whatever, my brain doesn't go, what do I need to do today? Because that is the worst question you can ask
Yeah.
yourself first thing in the morning or
Yeah.
anytime. Because your brain goes, I don't know, look at my list. Oh my goodness, look at all these things on my list. I could be, and then but the better question is, what day is it? Because it's got an absolute answer. Today is Tuesday.
Mhm.
Okay, what does Tuesday mean? So if I have Tuesday giving an overarching theme to Tuesday, and by the way, when I theme my time, I don't make it overly specific and I don't make it overly broad. I kind of look at Goldilocks. Like if it's too narrow, if I was to say today is my podcast day, well then I would only do podcast stuff. And then if I ran out of all my podcast stuff to do, my brain would go, well now what? And then it
Mm.
would go, I don't know, look at the list, right? But if I say it's home day, right? I work from home. Again, my brain goes, okay, you work from home. What can you do? Oh, look, I can do all these things. So I say it's listening day. Okay. So that I listen to podcasts, I create podcasts that people listen to. Oh, when I call people, they're listening to me. So now all of a sudden my brain is going, oh, this makes sense. This is something that applies to my work life and my home life. Tuesday's my listening day. What listening tasks do I need to do today? Do I want to do today? So now I've got this list because I've created a tag called listening based on the theme, and I can go, oh, here are all the listening tasks I need to do. Now, remember, a theme is not like the absolute, it's a focal point, right? It's an overarching focus. So there are things that I need to do that fall outside of the theme. But when I get stuck, when I get lost, distracted, diverted, I don't go, now what do I do? I go, what day is it? It's Tuesday.
Mm.
Tuesday, listening day. Okay, let me look at listening. I'm able to get back on track. And this applies to horizontal theming as well, which is when you're doing it by time of day. So if your brain says, I can't theme my days are too dynamic, which I also call a little bit on. I think that you can if you try, you definitely can theme at least one day of the week, maybe two. And I don't think everyone should theme every day of the week when they first start doing this
Well,
either.
this is so
But I think it's
I want to
yeah,
kind of dig into this a little bit deeper because
sure, 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 sure.
this is not a concept I've heard before, Mike. And so I'm curious. In your case, Mike, you're blogging, you're podcasting, you're on social media, you're coaching, you're developing these
Hmm.
different programs.
Yep.
The days can be very, very dynamic, right?
Sure
Like
they can,
I,
which gets to the horizontal theming part. So I could do by time of day instead. So I
mm,
have my making time, which then overrides the daily theme. So, for example, I write every single day. You're absolutely right. I'm keeping a daily microblog on Medium now. I have other things I'm writing. So I have what's called making time, which is a horizontal theme I think that takes place between like 3 and 6 p.m. My time. And again, I've structured this based on knowing what my schedule is like with coaching and things like that. Most of my clients are on the East Coast. 3 o'clock to me is 6 o'clock to them. You have to think about this stuff. It's not just something you throw together. But from 3 to 6 p.m. my time, making takes over. So today at 3 o'clock, I'm going to go from listening mode to, oh, look, my calendar, because this is where the calendar comes into play. This is making time. Okay, what am I going to make? Let me look at all the things I could make. Oh, one of them is a blog post. So it what's interesting is when I've talked to people about this on other podcasts and even in coaching clients, they go, "That seems too rigid." I'm like, "No, no, no. It's as rigid as you make it.
mm,
Like you get to decide. What I mean, you. I have 7 daily themes. I have 3 horizontal themes. I have monthly. People are like, "Oh my god, that's too structured for me." Frameworks, first off, they foster freedom. So
yeah.
if you have a framework in place, you can work with it. But just because I do 7 days a week of daily theming and 3 horizontal themes, and I have all that stuff, doesn't mean you have to do that. You could say, you know what, I can't theme every day because they're too dynamic, but the weekends, I could make Sunday my community day because maybe you go to church, you want to spend time with your family. You're already probably doing it anyway.
Right.
All you're doing is owning it. All you're doing is directing your focus, your attention to that, which means your intentions have a place to go,
Well, and I
right?
think you have to because it's absolutely impossible for you to scale your business without having these types of processes in place. Because if you're
Agreed.
just like because what naturally happens with let's say that your business is a snowball. It's very small, it's very manageable at first. You're only responding to, let's say, 2 emails a day, but in a month it's 3 emails, and then it's 6 emails, and then it's 9 emails, and then it's Instagram. It's all the if you're not thought, I really like this idea about the horizontal and vertical theming. It's really smart because it gives us kind of a framework to be more thoughtful about how our time is spent.
Well, and it's crafting too. Time. That's why I call it time crafting because no
Mm,
one ever stops craft, right? Like an actor doesn't go, well, I'm done. I'm done. Like a craftsperson always tries to get better. So you mentioned email. That's a really great example. So let's say you're starting your business and you're like, email is like an admin task. So you'll say, I'm going to have admin time, right?
mhm,
But then as your business gets bigger, your admin tasks grow. You're
right.
like, I can't fit them all in here. I'm spending a lot of time on email. Maybe I need to separate email from admin. So now I need to get more specific. So now it's going to be email time and admin is other things. Okay. So now I'm opening up my email program now. I have missions because you've got this email tag that kind of tells you, hey, I'm going into email. So you can go into email with missions rather than questions. You answer your emails, and then you're like, okay, good. I'm keeping on top of my email and my admin tasks. There's not a lot of them, so I'm keeping them okay too. Oh, wait, now I'm getting a lot of personal email and a lot
Yeah.
of work email. Well, maybe I need to separate those into Gmail and Outlook. Now all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, I'm at work. I don't look at the Gmail tag because that's personal email. Instead, I look at the Outlook one. So it's all about it evolves because I mean, think about it. As we grow up, the things how we operate change too,
Mm,
right? Like when nothing drives me nuts more for me. This is when I fall into the comparison trap of looking at somebody who is either all their kids are out of their house because the kids are older or they don't have kids yet. And I'm like, why am I not doing all the stuff they're doing? I'm like, well, I have 2 kids, and,
yeah.
and like so you can't. But maybe in 10 years when my kids are gone, I'll be able to do that stuff because time will have changed. So time moves on whether we want it to or not, which is why I don't like the term time management because it's hard to corral. I'd rather focus on things like expectation management, attention management, health task management, all that stuff, because that's stuff that we have agency over. Time, like again, time is constantly moving. All we can do is craft it, and these simple things like theming your time, working by modality, and then further to that, leveraging time by doing things like journaling, which I do every single day. That allows you to make the most of your time and craft it in a way that's going to work for you in your life.
Love it. Love it. I mean, we're touching on so many really, really important topics here. And one of the most important is that as your life moves on, your needs, your intention, your attention is also going to evolve. So getting together with someone like Mike at productivityist.com is going to be a huge boon. He's got a couple free offers and a $5 offer to just help you just like really get thoughtful. And because as you had mentioned, is Jocko Willink says, discipline equals freedom. So if you can get clear on your tasks, if you get disciplined, you're going to be much better off. Much better off. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad you enjoyed this episode. I've got several other episodes right here for you. Smash one of these videos to make sure that you don't miss out on the tips, tools, and tactics of industry experts. Let's take that side hustle full time. Smash one of these links.